It was called Multiplicity and Batman. Get your trivia straight. Hey gang, Jeff Stone here with day 78 of the year 2016 at magicreviewed.freaking.com. Take number 75. Let's see if we can get this one right. Today we're looking at Multitude by Vincent Hedin. Nothing in the box. That's right. Nothing but my hand is in the box. Oh wait, and this deck of cards. Alright, I cheated with the camera trick. This has nothing to do with the effect or the method or anything we're talking about today. Just Jeff, a little hopped up on carrot juice and raw cucumbers. Is there any other kind of cucumber? Do people cook cucumbers? I don't think so. Whatever, dude. So for $40, you get a DVD, a PDF, and this deck of cards. Now, this deck of cards, I could give this to you and tell you to examine it until the pigs are coming home and the cows are flying, or vice versa. And there you would not find anything at all, because there's nothing to find. Yet, every one of these cards have been modified in a particular way that you will never discover if I gave you this deck. So what makes this work is you incorporate some of these cards into a regular deck. So you have a deck that's half and half. And I don't want to reveal too much here, but you create a gimmicked deck by taking half of these cards and half of a regular deck. And so you can make two gimmick cards, two gimmick decks. When you're done, each of your gimmick decks is still a full deck. And it's even, I'd say it's examinable to some degree. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's really no effect or method section on this particular product here, because what you're buying is a method. And there are multiple effects taught on the DVD that use the method. The method is old. It was published in an episode of an issue of the Jinx back in 1930s or something, 1934, 35, somewhere around there. In one particular episode, and the method was just briefly mentioned. So this concept is old, and it's a concept you're familiar with. I guarantee you know this concept or this idea, but you've probably not seen it applied the way it's applied in this Multitude deck. He calls it the Multitude deck is because it's a deck that is gimmicked to the hilt, but can do multiple effects. And it can be used just like any normal deck. In fact, any trick you can do with a normal deck, you can do with this deck. And so, it's hard to explain this without tipping the method here, so I have to be careful about what I say here. When you've got we'll call it a system, which is your deck that's intact and ready to go in this special gimmicked way. When you have that in place, there are two things at work. It's the nature of these special cards here, and kind of a stack, but not really. There's nothing to memorize. There's no stack that you have to remember, or not even one that you have to calculate or anything like that. It's nothing like that. And that stack sort of changes too whenever you shuffle the cards. But there is certainly we'll call it a pattern, that if you were to have a deck that's gimmicked and ready to go, that you were to hand out to your spectator, they would probably see the pattern. So, they say in the ad copy you can, sorry, this is all over the place, isn't it? They say in the ad copy that you can hand the deck out to be inspected. That's true. But right before you hand it out, you have to destroy it's a stack, but it's not a stack. I don't know how else to explain it without exposing what the method is. But you have to sort of destroy that. Doing that makes the deck not useful anymore it's no longer in the gimmicked state, and so you can't do the effects that the gimmick deck can do. But you can still do regular effects. So, first of all, The kind of stuff you can do with this is pretty powerful stuff. And in my opinion, you don't need the deck to be inspected. I mean, how many times when you do Ambitious Card do you tell people, here, examine my deck? You just don't. They just, you might fan through and show them to be normal or something like that. But how often do you actually say, here, take this deck of cards and examine it? I mean, if you're doing that, I think you ought to stop. It's just my opinion. So, does this deck even need to be examined? No, but it does say it can be in the ad copy, and that is true. And they won't find the gimmick. They won't find what's unique about these cards, but they will probably notice the quasi stack. So, here's the thing. The types of effects you can do, most of the effects that are taught on the DVD, there's 11 effects taught on the DVD, and most of them, the system remains intact. You don't destroy the gimmick nature of the deck. There are a couple where when you're done, the deck is no longer intact, but you can quickly reset right in front of the spectators in just a few seconds and then go on to another trick that uses the gimmick nature. Or don't reset, and now you're in just sort of a regular deck situation, and the deck can be examined at that point if you want to, which again, I don't think you need to. So, what you're buying is this pack of cards where you're going to combine with the regular deck and make a gimmicked deck. With that system, that concept, that idea, what he's referring to as the multitude deck, you can do a ton of stuff, and it's pretty powerful stuff in my opinion. But my opinion of an effect being powerful is irrelevant, but I think most people would agree these are strong effects. If you watch the ad trailer, you got a sense of some of them. They're very fair. The deck is being shuffled by you, and it is a legitimate shuffle, but it's a specific shuffle. And he teaches you how to do 2 different legitimate specific shuffles that keep everything intact. And one of these things I was not aware you could do with this type of deck. And so now I like that idea, and I'll be able to use that with a different type of deck that has this same basic principle inside of it. It's a deck you're all familiar with. I am sure of it. So, in fact, I'll even drop a little hint here. It is a word that Elaine Bennis one time mispronounced and then denied mispronouncing it. That is the thing that you are probably familiar with. This is not that thing, but it's the same principle. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about there, then you deserve to know how this works because you're a diehard Seinfeld fan. Anyway, see, if you didn't know who Elaine Bennis was, I ruined it by saying Seinfeld. Now you're going to Google it. Great. Anyway, I don't think you'll find it on Google. Enough rambling, dude. Get on with the freaking review. So, what are you getting? You're getting a system. You're getting a system that allows you to do some very effective, deceptive, clever magic with apparently a normal deck. Watch the ad trailer and you'll see one where he just deals out the cards into 4 piles and he's shuffling them all along the way, and he blindfolded deals the cards and he's able to separate the suits. There's one where a card is a true free selection, is truly put in a truly random place in the deck, and then a couple shuffles later, and bam, he's got the card and he produces it. A lot of different things you can do that with normal sleight of hand would be extremely difficult. So, plenty of stuff on there. Watch the ad trailer if you liked anything you saw there. I'm sure you'll be happy with this. The ad copy, there was a couple of things. Go double check the written review just to make sure I don't miss anything here. But one of them was at the very beginning, like at the first few seconds, it shows him shuffling the deck. You can totally shuffle this deck, and you can do a legitimate shuffle. But the shuffle he was doing in that first few seconds, you couldn't do that. If you did, you would destroy the system. But watch the rest of the trailer. He shuffles it multiple times, and those are all legitimate shuffles, yet they keep the system intact. All right. The only other thing, there was an effect where it's this coincidence one, which is in the trailer. It's about 2 minutes in, and the method that he uses is slightly different than the one he teaches. In the video, he does briefly mention the other method, without any depth, but it's a kind of method where you're going to be like, oh, okay, well then I'll just do that. You'll know what the method is. It's hard to explain again without tipping what that is, but it's the kind of thing where still a little bit of depth would have helped, a little bit of detail there. And the other thing, there was a couple of times during the explanations on the DVD where he rushed over them a little bit, and I felt like it needed a little bit more time put into the description. Last ad copy thing, the effect, one of the effects, I'm going to say which one, but one of the effects requires you to modify some of your cards. The way you modify them it's a pretty standard thing, and I've used this technique before, but to do it really well, you kind of need a special little tool, and this special little tool, they can be pretty pricey. The one he uses is $65. However, he does briefly explain how to do it without the special tool, but it's very brief, and I don't even know. If you're not familiar with that technique, you may have a hard time knowing what to do there. So that would mean you would not be able to, I'll just tell you which trick it was. It's the one where you deal out the cards into four separate, separating the suits. Without this little extra thing, you can't do that trick. And so if you're not familiar with that particular technique, you may not be able to do this. Once you've modified the cards using this technique, it's pretty simple effect to do. So I think that's about it. The only other thing, I guess, the DVD or the ad trailer says 16 effects are taught. That's true, but 5 of them are in the PDF, the bonus PDF. So the bonus PDF has a total of 16. It has the 11 from the DVD plus 5 more. And so they're referring to that PDF as a bonus. If you're going to call that a bonus, then I don't think it's accurate to claim that it's 16 effects, because that sort of implies that the main product is 16 effects, and then the bonus is extra stuff. Either way, you're going to get the 16 effects, and it's not a small PDF. It's like 87 pages, and it's well put together. It's got a lot of good illustrations and details and stuff, so it's a good PDF. They just using the word bonus throws it a little bit, makes it not quite as. I don't like it when the bonus is on one level like, oh, it's a free bonus you're getting, but on the other hand, they're claiming that that's part of the main product. What the heck am I talking about? I don't even know. So I'm going to shut up. I think we're done here. Bottom line, if you liked any of the effects that you saw in the trailer, you're going to love this. This is super simple to do, and it's a very clever system. And the best thing is, these cards that you get, you'll have other uses for them. You'll have other tricks that you'll create using the special multitude deck, which is half of these and half of a regular deck, or just using a couple of these cards, or maybe even just one. You'll find useful. And the type of special cards these are, I've never seen any ever made this well. These are very, very good quality. And so to me, this is alone worth it to have a deck of these cards that you can use in your regular deck any way you like. And again, once you know what this principle is, you're like, oh yeah, I use those. I use that type of special gimmick, and I have these uses for it. So this is solid stuff here, guys. The only reason it didn't get 5 stars is because a couple of minor things in the ad copy and a couple of minor things in the product quality, which I've discussed either here or on the written review. Final verdict, 4 stars, stone status, a gem. So it's time for you to for me to shut up and you to click that button right over there. I think it's over there. I never know. And, thumbs up the video, subscribe, share, like my stuff, grow my channel for me, and listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is, well then, when I was a young man, when I was your man by, that's the karaoke version of a Bruno Mars tune. How is that even on my computer? I don't even know. It's probably one for my kids. So, When I Was Your Man, the karaoke version. I'll probably put the Bruno Mars version in the description below. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow, guys, where we look at day 79, and it is going to be Cold Case by Gregory Wilson. Until then, folks, don't OD on carrot juice. Thanks for watching. Peace out.